Well, the summer travel season is off to a pretty rough start. Flight cancellations and delays are entering their 5th day now. Severe weather and staffing shortages are grounding commercial airlines, with United Airlines being hit the hardest. The CEO of that airline, Scott Kirby, addressing the situation, saying, quote, "I'm frustrated that the FAA, frankly, failed us this weekend." Meantime, just last week, the Department of Transportation Inspector General released a report saying, in part, quote, "The FAA has made limited efforts to ensure adequate controller staffing at critical air traffic control facilities. FAA continues to face staffing challenges and lacks a plan to address them." Joining us now is the Congressman from Massachusetts, a Democrat, Jake Auchincloss. He is a member of the House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure and the House Select Committee on China. Congressman, thank you for joining us here on the Hill. We appreciate it. Let's start with what's going on with the FAA and up in our skies as millions of Americans take to airports for their summer travel plans. Is the CEO of United Airlines there wrong that the FAA is sort of to blame with what's going on?
Thanks for having me on. The CEO of the airline isn't wrong that the FAA has a staffing shortage for air traffic controllers. It's why it was my number 1 priority for the reauthorization of the Federal Aviation Administration as a member of the Subcommittee on Aviation. And as part of the committee passed bill that passed with bipartisan support, we did direct the FAA to make hiring more air traffic controllers its top priority and set aside funding to do so. That does not, though, let airlines off the hook for delivering an experience that is in accord with the Passenger Bill of Rights. And I encourage all members of the flying public to go to the Department of Transportation's website, see exactly what they are owed as a passenger and how to hold these airlines to account. And my office, of course, is here to assist with that. Yes, there are air traffic controller shortages. No, that does not mean that airlines are off the hook for their responsibility to provide a safe and reasonable flying experience for the American public.
You know, the FAA is sort of in limbo right now because the pick to lead that agency just had his name withdrawn. Phil Washington, there were concerns that he only had a couple years experience in the aviation industry as the head of the airport there in Denver. Now the Biden administration has to put forth a new selection. Are they on top of this? Like, it seems like there's a big problem with the FAA right now, and there's not even someone to permanently lead it.
I know that Secretary Buttigieg is committed to ensuring that FAA has competent and engaged management. I absolutely agree that the FAA needs somebody who can address the compounding challenges that they have faced over the last several years. The full ground stop, the delays of the last year are not acceptable experiences for the American flying public. And the FAA absolutely needs a full-time, experienced manager who can dig down into the bureaucracy, find the bottlenecks, open them up, and then come to Congress and request the resources and the authorizations that are necessary to ensure that we've got the safest and the best airline travel experience in the world.
Curious, real quick, as someone who's on the Transportation Committee, if you had the choice to fly or to drive or to train, what are you doing?
Well, it depends on the distance, obviously. I would say
if all were an option, like, do you trust the airports right now is kind of what I'm getting at.
I do, and I fly back and forth from Boston to Washington frequently. I will note that this country has a missing layer of infrastructure in medium-distance train travel. If we had the kind of train infrastructure that other developed nations have in Europe and East Asia, a train ride from Boston to Washington would be a 2-hour enjoyable, reliable experience. It's, of course, nothing like that. And the bipartisan infrastructure law is seeking to help make that train experience, whether in the Northeast or in the Southeast or in the Southwest, something that more people can rely on, because trains have an important part to play in between the long distance flights and the more medium or short distance car rides.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.